Ciao e benvenuti. My name is Ken Borelli, and I'm the project coordinator for a very exciting program, and it's the documentation of the history of Italian Americans in Santa Clara County. We are very grateful to a Santa Clara County history grant to assist us in securing and documenting this rich fabric of Santa Clara Valley history. And we have done this in a number of ways. The first way is these history boards that you have here, along with all of the archival work of cataloging historic photos, our newsletters, and also taking oral histories. In many ways, this episode here is an oral history. The other boards that we have included a general history of specific industry, opera, music, special communities such as the Arboresh, immigrants from Trebia, from Tricarico, and even the San Jose Growers Market, which will have its own board. This is the overview board, and I need to say that the entire collection represents the generosity and the donation and the commitment of literally hundreds of our IHF members who have donated photos, shared their stories, and we now have a way to consolidate this material. I also want to say this is a work in progress. Italian American history in Santa Clara County is evolving, has evolved, and sometimes we've lost, tragically, some of these very important milestones. And what we're trying to do with the project is to capture as much of this information as possible. The first thing is, this is the introductory board. It talks about the early development of Italian Americans in Santa Clara County. The Italian immigrants go back to basically the 1860s. There have always been Italian American immigrants in the valley since the Spanish colonialization. However, the impact of Italian Americans in Santa Clara County really start around 1860s, 1870s. They basically gravitated to areas of agriculture, and even in the cities, they gravitated to many of the service industries, and that's reflected in this board. For many old-timers, the Italian community centered around parishes, Catholic parishes, because many of the immigrants, not all, but many were predominantly Roman Catholic. So you basically had three gravitational centers. The first one is basically where Little Italy is now, and that was a very thriving Italian-American community well into the early 1950s, and that's centered around Holy Family Parish. That church and that whole neighborhood was raised for freeway, so-called urban development. The second parish is probably the second oldest, is actually Holy Cross Parish, where they still celebrate Mass in Italian today. Tragically, quite recently, a fire destroyed the building, and they were able to save artifacts. But one of the most beautiful artifacts was the painted mural over the altarpiece. That was pretty much destroyed, and that was painted by Anthony Quartuccio. He was a local artist and chronicled much of Santa Clara County life. And his paintings of the valley, his paintings of scenes in San Jose are still in homes today. They're prized collections. His son, Anthony Jr., is also a conductor and musician in Santa Clara County today. They come from a very rich and talented family. Anthony's brother was Shorty Joe Quartuccio of the Red Rock Canyon Cowboys. So there's so much diversity here. And finally, the third parish, centered in the Willow Glen area, and that is called Sacred Heart Parish. Sacred Heart was a thriving Italian-American community for many, many, many years, and associated with the Italian neighborhood of Long Gone on Goosetown. Many Italian-American families are connected or have their roots in Goosetown. Willow Glen had a lot of creeks, they had a lot of rivers, and there were flocks of geese in the area. The other part of this is, as part of the archive, we have 3 panels of stained glass donated by Italian-American family. They're for display. Each one of these panels was donated by, I would say 90% were donated by prominent Italian-American families. So we took the entire stained glass photograph. The other point too is that at the turn of the century, the Italian-American community, while having an urban core, was throughout the valley in farms and agriculture. There were apricots, there were prune orchards, and there were vineyards. We have, for example, Guglielmo Vineyard. We have Piketty Ranch and Vineyard in Cupertino. We have Cortese Family Ranch and Orchard in the East Foothills. Closely related to that was the industry of the canneries. So there were 6 to 7 major Italian-American canneries. And those canneries related to Contadina, the Contadina Food Cannery, Del Monte. This was a very vibrant place, and these canneries provided jobs for all ethnic groups in Santa Clara County. In addition to this, the San Jose Growers Market was an outlet that started in the midst of the Depression by many Italian-American truck farmers to bring their product to market. And so, combined with the canneries, combined with the farms, combined with the trade industries, this became a very vibrant, exciting community. In addition, some interesting facts too, is one of the oldest family-owned delis in the United States, still in operation, is Chiaramonte Deli on 13th Street. We have an old newspaper called the Italian-American Crusader in 1938, trying to share a growing political awareness, and we have those on our archival files. Another item I would like to point out is this photo, an early view of the Valley of Heart's Delight. It shows fruit trees in blossom, and this was a mainstay for many of our members in Italian-American families. They worked on those farms. They picked the fruit, they dried it. It was sent all over the United States. A farm shed from the DeRose Ranch and Orchard with a portrait of the family at their orchard. In addition, we have one of the last truck farms in Santa Clara County in operation by Phil Cosentino of Cosentino's Brothers when they had their markets. The evolution and interaction of all of this industry, agricultural industry in this valley, really contributed to an ambience that we want to preserve, but tragically too has transitioned. In addition, the South County area still retains some of the rural flavor. Really critical to that is the wineries, the Fortino Winery, the Guglielmo Winery, and many, many, many more that have contributed to this richness. And at one time, the Cupertino, Saratoga area had prized wines and orchards. All of these areas here, many of the areas that we're showing pictures of, are now large land tracts of homes. So what you have here is basically an introduction, the evolution of the Italian-American community. The other boards that you will be viewing have a lot more in-depth overview. I want to welcome you to this exciting project. Check out all of the boards, and we will be having explanations on many of these boards. And so that concludes the overview. Thank you.